Okay, so it is time for our first book talk, Miss Schumann. Aren't you excited?
Very excited.
Okay, so I'll start. So the first thing we need to do is talk about this reading survey that we were given a couple days ago about just our general feelings about reading and reading activities. So the first question was, how do I feel about reading? I love reading. I always have since I was young, and I usually read at night when right before I go to bed. It calms me down, and I'll usually read like if I'm waiting for something, like at the doctor's office or something, or like if I get somewhere too early. I always carry a book with me, so I just have something to do. I don't read as much as I want to, so I'm always trying to work on that, reading more and more every day, and actually reading for pleasure. So that's one of the goals that I have, is to read more books that I want to read rather than like have to read for my job. So that brings me to the book I'm reading. Did you have any other questions about my survey?
No, I think that's good. I'm anxious to hear a little bit about the book that you're reading and learn more about it. Maybe it's something that I want to read eventually.
Perhaps. All right, so the book that I'm reading is called The Golden Compass. Have you ever heard of this book?
I have.
Yeah, so I've heard of it. I just started reading it over the break. So I wanted to talk about this one because I'm in the middle of it.
Okay.
And I'll just start telling you about what the book is about. What's interesting is I'm looking at the cover of the book right now, and you think that would help, but I guess I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't met this bear.
Oh, is it a bear? It kind of looks like a wolf.
Oh, well, I haven't met this animal. So there's main character. Her name is Lyra. She's a young girl, and she grew up on a college. And like you learn later that well, I don't want to like spoil anything for you, but she wasn't born to anyone who lives there. She just kind of ended up there. So she kind of like just like hangs out. She causes mischief. She's a very like fun-loving, adventurous girl. And so the time comes where she's becoming like a young lady, so they want her to leave and go live with this woman. And so amidst all of this, she hears about these things called the gobblers, who are stealing children.
What?
And like apparently like hacking them up into pieces or something.
Oh.
Dismembering them.
Kind of took a creepy turn.
Right. Very unexpected. That is like what her new like mission, like she wants to do, because a friend of hers was taken and she suspects it was by the gobblers.
Mm-hmm.
So she is taken by this woman, and then she kind of finds out that this woman is a gobbler.
Oh.
Dun dun dun, right?
So she was like kind of doing her own little investigation. She wanted to figure out
yeah,
what was going on.
And because of how she grew up like on the college, always was like eavesdropping on conversations, so it's just like her natural way.
Okay.
Also,
very curious.
Everybody has a little like animal. They call it a demon, but it's D-A-E, like old spelling, like D-A-E-M-O-N.
Okay.
I think it's pronounced or a daemon. And so like her little daemon like takes different shapes. Sometimes he's a moth, sometimes he's like a little mouse, and he helps her like with her little investigation. But everybody has one. Interesting. Like a little spirit animal on the outside.
Okay.
So anyway, right now she's escaped her, and she's found these other people that are going to, like they're gonna go to the north so that they can get something. Like it's still very vague, but she wants to go with them, and they don't want her to because they don't want any women going.
Oh, shame on them.
So that's where I am right now. And what I like about it, I really like the main character. I like when there's like a strong female lead in there, and like she's like not what you would expect as you learn more about her. I really like the little demon things. I think that's a fun little thing. When you meet other people, they always tell you like, and his demon was a leopard, or hers was a monkey. And I just want to keep reading it because I don't know what's going to happen with those gobblers.
Yeah, seems like there's a lot of unexpected twists that happen throughout it.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yes.
And now you said that you had kind of heard about this book before. Is that why you chose it, or?
A friend of mine recommended it to me. So, and it's fantasy, and that's not my genre. But a goal of mine as a reader is to expand my reading horizons, to read more of what I usually don't, because I usually stick with realistic fiction. I'm not a big fantasy reader, and so I wanted to kind of push myself. So that's why I chose it.
Very nice. That was very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, Ms. Rebecca.
You're quite welcome. You need to go now.
Okay. Now, I will share a little bit with you about my sort of reading journey as well. I love to read also. I, again, kind of don't do it as much as I would like outside of work, like you said, but definitely when I am traveling and if I'm on break, definitely kind of need a break from everything else, and so it's just sort of a way that I can kind of go on these adventures sometimes and just kind of get engrossed in these, great stories. So definitely my goal is to read a little bit more just, kind of for myself. So I prefer to read also at night just because that's when I have the most time. Yep. So just don't even turn the TV on. I just read.
Well, it looks like we have the same goals as a reader.
Yes.
Let's hold each other accountable.
Okay. And the book that I'm reading right now is Flipped. This is a really great book. This is about there are two main characters. Okay. One is Bryce, the boy, and then Julie, the girl. So Bryce ends up moving to this small town, and right away this girl Julie, who lives across the street from him, gets really, really attached. Like it's going to be her new best friend, maybe boyfriend, we don't know, but yes, she's very, very interested in this boy Bryce.
Okay.
But she comes off as a little annoying.
Oh.
Yeah, she kind of gets really clingy, and, is she just being friendly or is she really annoying? So what's interesting about this book, and the reason that I'm really enjoying it, is because there are two different points of view. Two different perspectives.
Oh, I love that in a book.
Yes. So we get to hear from Julie's perspective, and so just how much, she wants a new friend, and she thinks that they're going to go on all of these adventures together, and everything's totally normal and fine. And then the next chapter, you get Bryce's point of view, where she comes off as a lunatic because she does weird things like sniff his hair. And climbs up trees and, tries to get everybody else to climb up there with her. And it's just really interesting because you think you know what's happening, and you kind of get these opinions about the characters. Right. But then it flips, and you kind of get the other side of the story, and you kind of see where that person's coming from, and indeed, why is she sniffing his hair? And things like that. Why is she in the tree?
And what was how old are these characters?
They are in middle school now. So it kind of talks about them a little bit when they were younger, like when he first moves to town in elementary school, but now they are in middle school.
Okay, so it's been a little bit of a span.
Yes.
Cool. And why do you want to keep reading it?
I want to keep reading it because I want to see what happens. I'm kind of, really into the story, and I'm invested in it. We're at a point right now where it seems like things have kind of turned into where Bryce is actually maybe starting to, either feel, you think he's just being sorry for her, but I think he's actually kind of starting to like Julie as a person. So, yeah, but he kind of made her mad, and she's really sad about something, and so the feelings are kind of opposite right now.
Okay. So there's probably going to be a lot of up and down emotions.
Yeah, so I kind of want to see what happens with their relationship.
See, now this kind of book is more of like the genre that I like. I like to read about human relationships more so. But
exactly. Me too, because I can connect to it.
Yeah.
Because, whether or not it's something that I've experienced myself, there's just a lot of human emotions that, we've all been through. So
right. And what's with this chicken?
So Julie raises chickens.
Okay.
And there's sort of a subplot.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, that kind of leads to an altercation between Bryce and Julie.
Okay.
But the reason I chose this book is someone had told me about it, but I don't know, it just looked really interesting. Like when you look at the back cover here, some of
that's
the
neat.
words are upside down, so it kind of goes along with the title flipped.
Oh,
So,
that's really neat
yeah,
how they
two
did that.
different voices.
Cool.
So it just looked really interesting, and so far so good.
Nice. All right. Well, I think we covered everything that we needed to talk about for our book talk. We talked about our reading habits. We talked about what our books were about. We asked each other questions along the way. I am excited to learn more about your book next time we talk.
I know, same here.
All right.
Enjoy.